It's all plugged in.
Okay, everything seems to be working.
Here it is. What do you know?
Take 2.
Get your ass to Mars.
Mission.
Wait.
15,
Counting.
14, 13.
All systems are go.
All systems are apparently go.
There's no green lights.
Yeah.
Well, I think it kind of speaks for
Fixing
itself.
things.
He just goes completely anti-science.
I pay money for naughty favors. Where's that mushroom toy?
Because that mushroom head seems to get in the way.
I'm a good girl, I am.
She was what the kids would call a
For
slut,
me.
which is a terrible thing to say about that. Apparently there's no denying she was one.
I want to apologize to all of you for what happened in there. In our competition for ratings, we all lost sight of why we got into show business in the first place.
Yeah, titties and beer.
Funny penis
I guess
pics.
he's not being charged for hollering stuff about masturbation.
All right, look, we're having a debate here amongst the associate producers. I am the J. Tyler.
I am your Miss Parker.
Welcome to Nothing Yet Live. Here we go.
About 6 to 8 months ago, there was
Shut up.
a firing of an ass prod. It was actually an intern to the ass prod.
Little bitch bit me.
Little bitch bit him, and that was Charlotte. But Charlotte is back,
And shaven more than ever.
shaven more than ever,
Charlotte.
and a little better behaved because I've decided that Jay is the treat man. And
Yeah, Charlotte is posted up right where in the associate producer's den. You can't see her from there.
she's had some urinary issues with submissive
Urinating on things.
peeing and pissing everywhere. So I bring her with me and keep her in eyes view
Nice view.
and take her on little boring back and forth
She
walks.
seems to have found her place.
She peed the other day. She peed down the side of the house, which is so rare. And I said, I'm using the commands, go pee pee, and she gets it now. Only
Because the
took
slap comes next.
No, it's because if you see her going pee, you say go pee pee, and she gets to associate it. And here we have a pee pee. I'm not.
This is the dumbest thing you've ever brought to this show, and
I
love
did
it.
not bring that to the
Oh, who
show.
brought this to our attention?
I have no idea. I thought you just found it
No.
in your.
We have.
You found it in your feed. It says Janelle Cridland. So
Janelle, Etsy.com/shop/masks by JC.
that's
Janelle.
back, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know if
don't
she's doing
know.
masks,
I-
but she's probably doing
Hey,
something.
I need some new masks, Janelle.
Yeah,
So,
COVID
yeah,
is
there
not
is
going
that.
away. My
Yeah.
whole family, my whole brother's side of the family minus one, have COVID.
So, this is a pimp in the making.
They tried to recruit him for the Nazi youth, but then his dad said, "No, we're going to a Nazi rally and we're going to be the protesters."
The
And then
opposite of
Jay
that.
shot one in the ankle with a.
This is me shaking dice playing backgammon with my dad in Yosemite.
A little smartass.
I was well trained. So the day of my forefathers, right? Like Francis is gone.
He who shall not be named.
My father, my father thinks I'm cool.
My father taught me to do that. Actually, my brother did.
My father thought it was cool, and Frank was like he protected me. He was cool like that.
Oh, Uncle Frank.
Uncle Frank. He's one of I would consider him a dad figure, And and Richard. And so my dad took this picture. I guess I was dope back in the day. I didn't even know it. I'm like 66 is dad. I think that's probably what I try to look into my own eyes and see myself back then. I feel bad because I don't think my brother has any pictures like this. I don't think my dad has any pictures.
I
of my
think your brother turned out the way he did because he was jealous of the relationship you had with both your parents.
Yeah, my dad definitely. My mom was like, "You're his favorite. Like he liked you more than he liked," and he made it clear that he,
And that's tough. That's a tough position to be in when you're a kid.
But Jason was an asshole.
I wasn't an asshole.
Adult. Jason was an asshole, and he was an adult. And it was like my dad was just like, "I'm done with your bullshit. Bye," and that was fine. But
Yeah, it's funny. He doesn't talk about Jason.
I've worked over the last 3 decades to build a relationship with my father, no matter what anybody thought, because I feel like I needed to know the guy.
He's a good guy to know, as is your stepmother.
I think I've mentioned this before, but it's like, it sucks to know what I'm going to look like in 25 years.
Why does
or
that suck?
20 years.
I have
Like,
no
I know
template.
exactly what I'm going to look like.
The women in
20
my
years.
well, my grandmother, she lived to be 81, but I've never looked like her, and I never will. I don't look like my mother. My mother only lived to be 55. And my grandmother, who I probably look the most like on my father's side, she died at 52.
Mhm.
So
You have no template.
I have no template. I've aged past all of them. And the way that I
Good on you.
have taken care of myself is I watched my parents, and I did the opposite. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink in excess. They would have like
No, you're not a drinker.
I mean,
You like a drink, but
I
you're
like a
not a
drink.
drinker. You are a social drinker.
I can drink alone sometimes.
But I
and
mean, you can.
I can stop. I can say that's it for tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. But no, my parents would have like 2 to 3 like gin and tonics before dinner, and then wine with dinner, and then sometimes beer after dinner.
Hey, I mean, it's a long night when you're unemployed in the 60s.
They weren't well,
I know, I'm joking.
but I mean, there was that. There was the drinking. There was the smoking, and then there was the getting.
Hey, girl, you better have my scotch and soda, my gin and tonic ready.
My gin and orange juice.
And I knew a guy that his thing was that he would drink gin and tonics, and he would throw a lime in to his gin and tonic, and he would just leave the lime in. So when he made another one, there'd be another. So he knew, like, he just leave it, like, oh, there's 4 limes, like that's probably good enough, you know. It was funny because he wanted to play quarters with me one time.
Who is this?
Mark Tacna. He goes, let's play quarters. And I go, okay. And people that know me know that I have my accuracy.
Yeah.
And I was just like draining them into a shot glass, right? Just like these quarters into a shot glass. And he goes, okay, let's make it like a sip. Like he's changing the rules because I was like, dude, you're going to be shit faced in 5 minutes if you play with me. Because you know me, I can do. I could have done it like that, made it. Or
You
I
can
could
also
throw 'em
kind of
like
drink
that.
people under the
I
table.
can bounce them off of a surface into it. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't know why my accuracy is like that. But I rolled double sixes, I guarantee you, that day. Right there. I was just like, what about double sixes? That's
Your
just the
dad's
way.
like, oh,
That's just the way I'm going to go in my mind. And in my mind, it looks like I'm winning. Because I was.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
You know, I had eyes
Yeah.
like that when I was a kid, blue with the ring around them.
Yeah. And everybody in my family, pretty much.
We're probably as related as
I look
my cousins.
so much like this is Hazel.
Yeah.
Like, so happy Father's Day to me, and you guys are welcome. Also, this.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
it's YouTube, so we had to blur out.
I was trying to find a pixelation tool, but I couldn't. So I'm just like, I'm going to use the iPhone app, which lets me do shapes.
My dad likes to embarrass me to this day for some reason, but he didn't really when he brought this photo out. Not embarrassing, but that was pretty cool. I still stand that way. If you notice, I
do notice that you're
my
standing
feet- I
outside with
stand
your
with
cigarette and you're like,
1 foot this way and 1 foot like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I got out. I came out. I think Jim Woodring is also a pretty famous photographer artist from SoCal that my dad knew and grew up with.
That's an incredible photo.
I think he shot that. One.
You could have been a model. You could have been like a children's
Could have been a lot of things.
catalog model.
Woulda, coulda,
Yeah,
shoulda.
me too. We're all
Now I'm
we're all
just
little
the Jay Tyler. But
little what do you call
thanks
it?
for doing it.
Blank slates.
This shit is hilarious. I hope people are laughing right now. 'Cause-
He said, can you, I read it the second time. The first one, I was trying to pixelate and I did a little rectangle over it. I had to move it down a little bit.
I'm gonna share this on Facebook.
And then I'm like, you know what? He wanted it lengthy, so I made it lengthy.
Share that.
Yeah, are you saying you were swinging pipe when you were what, 2?
Hey, first Dorothy at 6. Anyway, so yeah, every time I feel bad about my life, I just look back on shit like this, and I remember that, you know what, like once upon a time, my parents were in love. My mom and Alan were in love, and they took us camping.
Man, I would have been in love with your dad.
He was pretty dope.
Yeah, he
So
was pretty dope and smart and
funny and clever.
yeah, and took you to anti-Nazi.
Oh, I said, hey, you know what? Nothing is. There's no like. It's like when bad things happen to Nazis. It's my dad's favorite thing in the whole world. He laughs and he makes
It's
videos.
his favorite thing too. He's
There nothing bad can happen to a fascist.
Jay talks about
Nothing bad can
talks about torturing Nazis all the
I
time,
don't
and I
talk about
can't.
torturing them. I
I'm
just
talking
think,
about-
like I wish they would just not be. I mean, I'm not into like.
Oh, I don't know, murder.
Yeah, I'm not into murder. But when bad things happen to Nazis, I don't care. So, yeah. I mean, hey, don't be a Nazi. And, you know, we'll keep quiet about the gay, bi, LGBTQ fucking enter whatever letter you want. We'll keep quiet about that. And then you don't be a Nazi. You don't be a Nazi. I mean, you
So
can
when you
have
say
Nazi
keep quiet,
feeling.
So when you
yeah,
say keep quiet,
You keep
you-
quiet about your Nazis.
no, we keep
Is-
quiet about LGBT.
We'll keep quiet about that, and you guys don't be Nazis. But I mean, you can't be Nazis. You can't spread like we won't spread around our stuff, and you don't spread.
Well,
around
see, I'm not
yours.
gay, so I can't.
Well, I mean, it's
recruit.
just a compromise. Of course, it's not going to happen. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I think I've ever.
So
said
when
on the show.
when I was designing or not designing, when I was making that little
It was
black
big.
box, big black
Big.
rectangle dangling off of
Yes.
little J, I was thinking, you know,
like
if we actually went with the raw photo, we'd get in big trouble
Yeah.
because we defend gay people all the time and say that they're not pedophiles, but you know, everybody knows that all gay people are pedophiles. So we didn't want to be associated. We thought that it would just prove.
Well, it just makes me think too. It's just like, is that technically kiddie porn? Am I in possession of kiddie porn?
You know,
even though it's me, like I have a naked child picture of myself.
who was
That's
that?
okay, right?
Who was that
I'm not gonna
attorney
get-
general? Bush's attorney general. What
Bill
was his
Oh no, that's
Bush
not Bill.
Jr.'s
Bill
attorney general?
Barr.
The one that no, that was Trump's. The one that anointed himself. God, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, well, you know what? Nobody remembers
Anyway,
the
he
person
was-
that lost the Super Bowl.
He was big on prosecuting people for kiddie porn, and back in that day, he totally would have gone after somebody who
Yeah.
posted that.
Like Mapplethorpe came out with a bunch of really controversial shit back in the 80s. And it's like, dude, you could have gone to jail for like this picture.
But you know, what does that mean?
But-
If you post a picture of yourself naked as a child, does that mean anything? Is that like some sort
It's
of
funny.
weird
I
incest?
just, you know what? I liked to be naked. I always ran around naked when I was a kid. Didn't bother me. My parents were kind of nudie people.
I like
Anyway,
being topless, not
So,
bottomless.
yeah.
But when I was a kid, I ran around topless.
I
You know,
was just, dude, this is a hot day in LA, and I'm like 2 years old. Not this.
not this, the naked
The
one.
name. I was like, this is a hot day in LA, and that's where we lived, or Santa Barbara, or it could have been Goleta, any one of those places. But I just would run around like we lived in a little sort of beach house type, suburban home, and we just ran around naked. I was 2 years, whatever. less
Well,
than
I
2
tried
years
to
old.
run around topless when I was like 9
Well,
in the backyard. And I looked just like the boys did. All the boys were topless. I looked just like they did. My mother's like, you need to put a shirt on. I'm like, why? I ain't got nothing. I'm just like them. It looks just like them. I'm skinny and I got nothing.
right after this picture was taken, the dope ass earthquake happened. It was amazing, and that's my story. I think my dad had just gotten a brand new dope ass portrait camera because my father is quite the photographer, especially
He's
back then.
quite the lots of things.
Kinds of graphic artists, like anything that's creative. But yeah, we're gonna cut it on that. But this is funny. Like they were just testing his camera, and I was running around the house, and I stopped, and they pointed. I think it was like him and Jim. And they just pointed the camera at me and took this picture. And that's the oldest picture I can think of me. So thanks, Dad.
I've got some of like a couple of days after I was born.
Pimp in the making.
Totally.
The Jay Tyler.
I have some old pictures of myself, but not today.
Well,
Not today, Satan.
well, thanks, Dads. We'll be back in a moment.
All right.
I already said I'm the Pimp Jay Tyler.
Oh, I am the hoe, Miss Parker,
Oh, God.
and
That's funny.
this
It's Nothing Yet Live.